I'll just mute you guys as well. You guys can unmute yourselves later on. Alright guys, welcome to live session for the 16th of April 2018. As usual, we're just going to cover Bitcoin, Bitcoin US dollar to begin with. So in the last, probably in the last few days, when was this? The 12th. So 4 days ago, we had a massive move in the market on this day. Okay, 12th of the 4th. Now, we've basically, from last live session and so forth, we hit our bottom, which is 6K. We moved back up to, almost 12K, and then we've pulled back down again. Back down to, 6.4-ish was our lowest, okay? Anywhere between sort of 6.4 and 6.8 would have been good buying opportunities just in this little box here. Again, I would have been buying anywhere from, I would have had, if I was buying Bitcoin again, I would have been setting my sell orders anywhere below 7,500 right down to say 6K, where our bottom is again. Because again, if we draw our fibs up from our low move to our high move up here, 7,500 is approaching our extremely good value area, which is a 78.6 down here. And below that is, extreme value. So all of this area in here, okay, is basically extreme value area for us to be picking up and buying more Bitcoin, okay. As you guys know, I'm not working or anything anymore, so I don't have any more capital to put into Bitcoin. If I was, I'd definitely be buying a shitload more. I even had thoughts again, contemplating, revisiting selling the house again, possibly to get more funds to put into Bitcoin and just smash in more funds. Kind of held off on that idea at the moment though. But we're looking like we're going to be heading back into our next bull market soon, and I'll show you guys why after we've finished establishing the Bitcoin price and so forth. So with this massive move in the market on this day was actually a new historical moment as well. It was the most amount of money changed hands in Bitcoin in a 24-hour period. Okay, so ever. So it was the most amount of money transferred ever in Bitcoin on that day so far. So that's pretty cool. I did post this thing the other day. This BitMEX rec thing. It's basically like a bot that tracks liquidations and so forth on BitMEX. So BitMEX is the trading platform where you can actually long and short Bitcoin with Bitcoin itself, and you can leverage it as well. Okay, so during this first hour or so of this massive move, if we go down to the 1 hour time frame, you'll see most of it actually happened within an hour period. So this 1 hour here, we went from 6,800-ish all the way up to just over 8K. So you can imagine how many people in this period would have had, they would have had stops just above sort of 7,500. They would have had stops just above sort of 8K. So a crap load of those people basically got taken out of the market, got smashed out of the market. I was monitoring this thing, and during that first, during that hour period, there were literally liquidations of in the tens of millions of dollars, like just getting smashed, getting pummeled. And so it's pretty cool to see the market manipulation come in like that and just take a whole bunch out. There's a 1.8 million there. There's 500K, 400K, 600K, 4.2 million 4 hours ago liquidated. So, and that's, you can see the differences here. So what we're going to get is the flip side. So fear of missing out, a bunch of these people who got taken out here, they're probably going to start opening buy positions. We're going to get a bit of consolidation through all this stuff, but I think we're going to head back into our next bull market soon. So Bitcoin wise, we're looking towards, I'll be looking towards that 12K mark again. What's going on here? It's loading really slowly. Looking towards this, you know, I think we may even get a pullback back to about 7,500-ish, and then move upwards. If we're going to move upwards from there, we may just continue up. We may come back down here into our value area again, and you know, I'm going to be cashing out Bitcoin again probably once we start getting towards 10k and above. I'm basically holding out for to start cashing out more funds that I need for bills and so forth. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. So that's Bitcoin price. From there, if we can break above this 12k mark, that's going to start pushing us back towards our previous high at like 20k US. Okay, hopefully that that starts to happen. There's still a lot of, you know, experts and this and that are predicting Bitcoin to be, you know, over 25k by the end of the year. I've seen some around 50k by the end of the year. My my thoughts were around 50k, 40 to 50k by the end of 2018. So we'll see how we go with that, and hopefully if we get to that point, you know, most of you guys have got your Bitcoin and stuff now. So yeah, even if we get to say 50k or whatever, you guys should be sitting pretty as well within the market, which will be really cool. So the main reasons why I believe we're heading back into sort of Bitcoin, not necessarily Bitcoin bull market, but altcoin season again, is mainly if you go through, and I'll show you on Poloniex as usual because it's just nice and easy. The UI, yeah, the GUI just looks nice. It's easy to understand. So if you go through a majority of these coins, okay, especially over the last few days, you'll start to notice the market depth, the buy orders and the sell orders are starting to stack up in the buy order side. Now what that means is there's a lot of people putting funds there waiting for price to either retrace a little bit further to buy, or people are buying into the sell orders. So you'll see the buy order side is starting to get bigger than the sell order side on most coins. Okay, not all coins obviously, but on most coins you can go through and start to see similarities like that. Now that's, you know, I've been watching that over the last week or so, and I've picked up some good buys at some nice low prices. I think I picked up NEM was moving pretty good just the other day, which is XCM. NEM. So I picked up some NEM at around about the 30. I picked up some NEM at about the 3100 mark and 3300 mark from this pullback. So I picked some up about 3300 and 3100-ish for NEM. So NEM's heading back up towards here. You can see my orders here. 33.99. Sales are at 54 and 59 before this nice big chunk here. So see how NEM goes. Got a bunch of other alts obviously as well, but I think we've almost kind of bottomed out again on most of our alts from the last run. You'll start to see some of these alts starting to move up. So obviously from this point down here, you know, from 3,000 to now, we're trading currently 4,200-ish. You know, that's an extra 40%. So there's a 40% gain there between the low to the high. So just keep that in mind, obviously, guys, that people that are buying down here and people like myself that have been buying down here, we're happy to take profits anywhere from, you guys know what my orders normally are, anywhere between, sort of 10 and 30% for my first sales, and then upwards from there. So this coin, for example, at 5,400, going to be making some pretty good bank on that amount percentage wise. So keep an eye on the altcoins, guys. I'm going to be starting to move. I'm still moving some of my funds over to the likes of Binance. I'm still using Cryptopia for most of my masternode coins. Okay, I'm using Bittrex very little at the moment. Really don't like their new updates. Really don't like the new UI and everything. It's pretty crappy. HitBTC I'm using for a little bit. I've got a couple of ICO coins on there. Crypto Bridge and Waves were just platforms to get rid of ICO coins. IDEX Exchange is currently listing my agent not needed ICO token that I bought. I'm still waiting on Coins Markets to release Bitcoin withdrawals to be active. I've still got just over 2.5 Bitcoin stuck in Coins Markets that I was trying to buy the Alco coin masternodes from. So that's kind of that's been stuck there for like months. So hopefully, I've basically written off that Bitcoin. But you know, if things turn around and they open Bitcoin, hopefully I can get that Bitcoin back. The biggest thing I'm probably going to be doing this week for you guys, just before we move on to that, Binance is currently trading at the #1 volume exchange. So make sure you're using those high volume exchanges as well, guys. I mean, I've still got majority of my capital in Poloniex, purely because most of my, a lot of capital has been tied up over the last probably 3 to 4 months, but I'm slowly moving it to the high volume exchanges. Okay. Binance is really good. Good UI, good usability. They've got a crap load of coins obviously on there, and the fees are being reduced, all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't joined Binance yet, guys, make sure in the pinned post of the group, there's a Binance link here. Cryptopia again, I'm only using for masternode stuff. I had some withdrawal issues with them, but they've cleared all that up, and that seems to be okay now. I still highly recommend Poloniex. Obviously, I believe Poloniex will end up Poloniex is like ridiculously low on the volume front at the moment. There's all these weird exchanges that I've never even really heard of. They're only trading that much per day, so really low volume wise as far as where they were. I mean, they obviously used to be #1, so to dip that low. But the reason I still trust them massively is because they've obviously been picked up by that Circle company. So they're a legit company now. They're actually owned by a well-established company. They're increasing their support staff and all those sort of things. I'm not sure if you saw the posts and things that I made. So if you don't have a Poloniex account at the moment, which I'm sure pretty much all of you do, at least register one, because we don't want to go through what happened last time during the last bull market, okay? And you can't register and can't sign up for accounts. So again, guys, if you're not trading on Binance or even Cryptopia and Bittrex and so forth, try to at least create your accounts so you've got an account there ready to go if you do want to trade on those platforms. Because all of these guys, except for Poloniex, I think last bull run stopped accepting signups. Okay, and you get new people coming into the market that want to trade, and they can't trade simply because they don't have an account. I had accounts with all of these guys, from ages ago. I've created accounts, I wasn't even trading on half of them, but I had accounts there ready to go. I didn't think that something like that would actually happen, but I'm glad I did make my accounts previously. So just keep that in mind, guys. Altcoins, keep trading, keep looking for the altcoin pickups. And the biggest thing I'm going to be doing this week for you guys is Vivo masternodes. I'm going to make a public video on how to do specifically a Vivo masternode. Most of the steps are similar for other masternodes, but they've all got their little tweaks and quirks that you need to work out. And some of them have specific things that need to be installed and set up. Obviously I've got 12 masternodes for Vivo at the moment, approaching a 13th one because I've got 730 coins, so you need 1,000 coins. So I don't know, I haven't been posting a lot on Facebook lately, so I don't know how the new Facebook algorithms go, but it might be a good opportunity there for you guys to buy Vivo. Okay, you can buy Vivo on Cryptopia, because once I release the public video on YouTube, share it around, post in all the Facebook groups and so forth. There's some pretty big ones, Crypto Australia and Crypto for Blokes and those sort of things. They've got like 30 to 50k members. So it's there may be an opportunity there for you guys to make bank even on just buying the coins if it gets enough traction. If the video gets enough traction, like some of my other YouTube videos, like I've got over 100k views on just even one of my mining videos, for example. So if it gets traction like that, you know, even if 1% of those people buy that coin is going to increase a lot in value. So, you know, it's up to you guys, obviously, if you want to buy it or not. But it may be a good opportunity to buy it if you do. So at the moment, it's trading at. Let's see what it's trading at. 6532 Bitcoin, and you need 1,000 coins. So 1,000 by 0.0000. 6532 is 0.065 Bitcoin to get a masternode worth of that coin. So, you know, the potential's there. We were trading at 0.001 last bull market, and we're now trading at 6.5. So there's an opportunity there for about a 15 times increase back to the previous high, if it was to get there. I don't know if it is going to get there, guys. Obviously, masternode coins are, you know, they are really much a gamble per se, because you're banking on the people who are developing the coin to actually, you know, do what they say that they're going to do, not just create a coin and sell off a whole bunch of their own coin and make profits and do a runner, basically. Because the masternode coins are very similar to how an ICO runs, where the developers of the coin normally keep a portion of the coin for themselves, and you know, there's nothing stopping those people from just dumping on the market. So the best place to buy this from is definitely on Cryptopia. Okay, so yeah, I'll be doing a public video on how to download the wallet, how to set up the masternode, how to sync your masternode, you know, how to start your masternode, how to make sure it's all running, all that sort of stuff. So, and then for the students only version of the masternode stuff, I'll basically add on to the Vivo video and show you guys kind of like how to track down, if you want to do other masternodes and so forth, how to kind of like track down and troubleshoot if there's any issues with setting it up, how to set it up, where to look to set up the specifics that you might need for different coins, how to join the, you know, most of them are on Telegram or Discord for help and support and stuff from the developers and things. So yeah, there's a lot involved there, but if we do a step-by-step video on a specific coin, that'll at least help understand how it all works to begin with. So so Vivo masternodes, if we look in the transactions here, for example, each masternode is giving me 5 Vivo per reward, and the rewards are generally anywhere between sort of 24 to 48 hours. Okay. So if we look at say this masternode 10, if we just keep going back, so this was today at 3:30. So masternode 10 back here, that was yesterday at 2:36 in the morning. Okay. So again, masternode 10. So that was 2 days before at 11:38 in the morning, for example. So anywhere between, I'd say on average, probably about 36 hours or so at the moment. So for 5 rewards, so you need 1,000 coins, right? And you're getting 5 coins per roughly average 36 hours or so. Okay, so you're getting, well, that's massive. So you're getting about, you know, 5 of 1,000 is 0.5%. So you're getting about 0.5% return every day and a half, which is pretty good. I mean, if you're getting, you know, what's that? So 7 divided by 1.5, 4.6, 5.5%. That didn't work. But anyway, 4.6 by 0.5%, you're getting about 2% a week, just over 2% a week from the masternodes. So it's pretty good return. And then obviously, if as you're getting more and more coins from the masternodes, you can create more masternodes to then compound what your earnings are. That's basically what I've done. So I didn't straight up buy 12 masternodes. You know what I mean? Like I've been mining this. I've had these masternodes for like months now. So probably Cryptopia. So my first masternode reward was back on the 15th of the 1st. So 3 months ago. So I've been slowly buying more and more coins over the last few months. And then as I get more rewards, I just create more masternodes, okay? And that's purely based upon the fact that what's going to happen is, okay, so from the 15th, just back about here, okay, obviously the bearish market cycle has proceeded to kick off, so I just keep scaling in more and more coin, keep buying more and more. As I get 1,000 coins from rewards, I create another masternode. Okay, so once I get to 13,000, there'll be 1,000 coins there. I create another masternode. That masternode then gives me another 5 coins per 36 hours or so, compounding with all my other ones. So at the moment, I'm getting about 60 coins every 36 hours or so, and it might take me a couple of weeks or a few weeks to get another masternode at that rate, and then that is just compounding my earnings of this coin. Now, if we were to, if this coin was to massively start pumping in value, okay, there's nothing to do with masternodes. Like your masternode coins, these aren't locked in or anything. Like these are not locked. Like you can transfer them at any point in time that you like. You don't have to leave them in there for a certain amount of time or a certain amount. It's not like a term deposit or anything at the bank. You just I can transfer these coins. I can unlock these. I can transfer these coins to back to Cryptopia and sell them if I want to. So what happens is I'm just stacking coins until we start to get to that massive we start to get to this bull market move again. And then once we get to the bull market move, I'll probably move majority of the coins to the exchange and then set my sell orders. Or even if price pumps massively, back to this sort of point 0.001 level or whatever, I can just dump them on the exchange. So it all depends on what your strategy is. Like I'm not locked into this coin for a long term. It's not like a two-year deal or anything. Like I'm not going to just keep scaling in. If there's an opportunity there for me to make big profits from the coin, I'll happily sell the coin. You know what I mean? Like I'm not emotionally attached to any coins that I have. I'm more than happy to sell any coin at a profit, at a good profit. Keep that in mind. So if we were to get back to, this 0.001 price, for example, I've got 12,000 coins by 0.001. So we're looking at 12 Bitcoin worth of Vivo coin there if we get back to previous highs. I'm more than happy to sell 12 Bitcoin worth of coin and have that Bitcoin to trade other coins or whatever I want to do with that money, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's nothing stopping. I'm not going to leave the masternodes there forever kind of thing. So that's about it really, guys, that I wanted to cover today. Just make sure you've updating your Bitcoin charts. Make sure you're checking these order books on your exchanges, okay? Market depth indicators on your exchanges. Make sure you're checking these, because what we're going to see is, this is what happened with the last bull market. What started to happen was every now and again a coin would start to pump. Okay, you'll get one random coin, or a couple of random coins per day starting to pump, like what we've started to see, and then you'll see the market depth, the buy orders start to heavily outweigh the sell orders, and people are picking up coins. And then when they're picking up coins, obviously once we start to move up in price, your sell orders are going to start to take over the buy orders again once we start to transition back to another bearish market cycle, because so many people are trying to sell, there's not enough buyers, people start offloading their coins to get free up capital and so forth to buy again, or they start panic selling when we hit the bearish market cycle, and that just causes our market swings. So if we look back previously, these are our kind of date ranges where we're heading back into bullish market cycle again. Okay, we had our first massive one, before that market was really stagnant. We had our first massive one kick off, between March and finishing kind of the end of May. Okay, and then we've had the similar sort of thing at the end of the year happen again. Okay, at the end of the year, from sort of like November-ish to the end of December. Now, Bitcoin itself has crashed and then rallied this time every year. Okay, if you look back at the previous Bitcoin charts and so forth, it always peaks and then it crashes about this time, and then it takes off again sort of mid-year. So we're looking to basically, if history repeats itself, which it kind of does as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, if enough people are tracking the same data, and we'll start to see the next bullish market cycle again. And that's starting to shape up based on different coins and their market depth indicators and so forth with the order books. So just keep that in mind, guys. Keep check on that. That's pretty much it for me at the moment. So if you guys want to unmute yourselves, if you got any questions or anything, if you want to ask anything, guys, unmute yourselves. So just one example again. This is kind of like you see here, to move back. So we're trading at say 24. To move back that far, you've got 10 Bitcoin. To move 10 Bitcoin further, you've got a much higher percentage gain to be made there than to be pushed back further. So once we start to see bigger buys on the market depth indicator, we're going to head higher effectively. And there was a whole speculative thing around US tax season and all this sort of shit. I believe that's finishing. Either it has finished or it's finishing very soon. So we may get a big pump in the market from that as well. There's speculations around that causing issues with the market, like people having to take out more money and so forth to pay tax bills and all that sort of bullshit, based on previous year's taxation and so forth. So we may see that over the last few days. I think it came out something about Bitcoin is it's been classified as halal or whatever. So you've got 1.6 billion Muslims or whatever in the world who are now open to be able to purchase Bitcoin based on their religious backgrounds and so forth. So it's okay for them to purchase Bitcoin religious wise. So there's another 1.6 billion people that can be exposed to Bitcoin as well. So when those sorts of things start to happen, that's actually really cool for the market, because it just means even if 1% of those people come into the market, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. We're dealing with very low percentage figures of people actually buying crypto and trading crypto. So once we start to see them figures increase, we're going to start to see this market cap just go through the roof. And obviously if we see the market cap go through the roof, all of these prices start to increase exponentially with each other, because as more and more money comes into the market, the demand is there, and the supply is basically the same. as what it is now. Okay. Obviously, some of these coins are still being mined and so forth, but you know what, you get the general idea. The supply is basically only increasing at a certain rate, and the demand gets massively pumped because of more and more people coming into the market. Have you ever played with any volume scanners to try catch breakouts early? Seen all these pumps, interesting. I've never really played with any volume scanners. I do obviously use the volume indicator on the charts and so forth. So once you start to see big volume like this coming into the market, you know there's a lot of buying pressure there. So again, it's just another bullish market indicator if you start to see that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've never really looked into any volume scanners. I mean, it's not a bad idea. So if you find anything like that, yeah, hit me up, send me a message or whatever. I'm happy to test out stuff like that. Yeah, it is interesting with the with Islam and crypto and so forth, with it being, you know, okay for their religion now. So yeah, just keep in mind that even if you're scanning, say, the volume indicator and so forth, just keep in mind that the volume indicator is still only one indicator. Okay, so you still need to combine that with everything else. You still need to combine that with your support and resistance levels. You still need to combine that with your trend, with your trend lines. You still need to combine it with your other indicators as well. So don't get too caught up in specifically only one indicator, because remember, it is just an indicator. Okay, and all indicators are laggy. Okay, because obviously they're only going to show you data which has already happened from the indicator itself. Okay, so all of these volume indicators and so forth that you can see, all this volume, this is volume that happens during that time frame. It's not going to show you upcoming volume, obviously, because we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, just keep in mind all indicators are laggy. Okay, there's nothing that can really there's nothing that's going to give you 100% clarity on catching certain moves or doing whatever. But if you combine something extra, you know, say a volume scanner plus the volume indicator plus your RSI, you know, plus MACD divergence, you know, plus trend lines, plus all your support and resistance levels and so forth, the more you can combine, the better it is to show you or give you a better idea on what is a good setup and what's going to potentially happen. So I'm once we get back into alt season and so forth, I'm actually going to then keep a percentage of my portfolio active just for longing and shorting Bitcoin itself, and then I'm going to come up with try and come up with some good strategies for you guys to basically so you can continue making more and more money during the bearish market cycles. If we get another rinse repeat of what's happened previously, like if we get a massive bull run now, on the flip side, we can also tell when a bearish market cycle is going to start to happen as well. Like once the market starts to come down, once you start to see all these massive sell walls and really thin buy orders, you know that it's not going to take much to move the price down. Okay, so on the flip side, we can also start to tell when a bearish market cycle is going to happen, the same way that we try to judge when a bullish market cycle is going to happen. Okay, so with that in mind, if I'm keeping a certain percentage of my portfolio just to trade on something like BitMEX, for example, just to actually long and short Bitcoin with that Bitcoin amount, we can start to then do our normal trading, kind of like what we do with the Forex market, and we can long and short Bitcoin, and we can set our, we can risk a small portion of our capital per trade based on that Bitcoin with our stop losses and so forth, to try and capitalize more on shorting of Bitcoin as well. So previously, because we're so bullish on Bitcoin overall, like the price on crypto is going to keep increasing as more and more money comes into the market. That's a fundamental fact that is just going to happen. Okay, the market is not going to continue crashing to, previous levels unless everyone was to basically exit out of the entire market. And you just don't see that happening. We're in a baby market. We're in a very small market compared to any other market. Like $325 billion is literally nothing compared to any other market that is tradable. That is well known and common. Like stocks and futures and so forth. Like the market cap is so small that we're only going to get more money coming into the market. So as we rinse and repeat the market cycles, we can actually capitalize on the shorts then as well. Previously, we've never seen Bitcoin this bearish before over the last couple of years. We haven't had a continual bearish market cycle this long before, if you know what I mean. Like we've had short bearish market cycles and then we've gone on to make new highs again. Okay, whereas this one is kind of like a longer term play because we've had things like futures come into the market. We've had like this growth to 20k was just ridiculous. So you've got a crap load of people just happy to take massive profits and pretty much, sit on the sidelines and just see what happens. Like, you can imagine people that bought in anywhere down here. If you're taking profits at like 20k, like who cares, man? Like if you don't even come back into the market, you've already made stupidly large returns. And when you get hedge fund managers and things start to talk about investing in Bitcoin and that sort of thing, that's when big money is going to come into the market, because those guys then take that money and they add it, they invest it into Bitcoin and so forth for regular people. So regular people don't even have to know how to open exchange accounts. They don't even have to know how to do stuff. You know what I mean? They just give their money to a company and that company buys all the stuff for them. You know what I mean? Like they just do it for them. So they don't have to be clued up about how to buy, how to sell, how to trade, how to open accounts, how to, set up the accounts and do all your crap with your KYC implementation. They don't have to know about ICOs. They don't have to know about anything. They just go, oh, I'll just send you some money and you just invest it for me, kind of thing. So once that world becomes the normality, that's when we're going to start to see, huge amounts of money come into the market. Which is obviously happening at the moment, because we're getting, like this big market move here, for example, in that hour time frame, like that is some pretty serious money to move Bitcoin. So Bitcoin can definitely be manipulated because it is such a small market compared to other markets, but you need to have deep pockets to be able to manipulate the market. Sid said, sorry if I missed it, but is the recent price spike a new bull trend or just a pump? So at the moment, it's, we're not really necessarily calling it a new bull trend yet, because it's only just happened. So for us to actually be in a new effective bull trend, we need to see pretty much all of our alts start to make higher highs and higher lows again. Same thing with Bitcoin. Like at the moment, we've basically come from our bottom price up to, 8.5K, right? For us to call this a new bull trend, we actually have to keep continually making more higher highs and higher lows. We have to break all of this kind of noise here to be in a new Bitcoin bull trend, okay? And making new higher highs and higher lows. So I would call it a pump at the moment, but the pump is obviously the beginning of a potential bull trend. So at the moment, I think we're in a good position to be buying. Like if you're buying pretty much down here, if you're buying altcoins that are anywhere towards their bottom, I believe that is, I don't think you're going to get much better value area than that before price can potentially take off again. If price does retrace a little bit further, so be it. But a lot of price at the moment is starting to look very good for a bullish trend, but there's nothing to say that it will continue. So we just play the market by what the market shows us, and then we make our decisions based on that. Ziwis, hello, how you going? So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. If anyone else has got any more questions, pop them up. Otherwise, we will. Hey Sarah. Otherwise, we will close off the session there, and I'll upload it for everybody else to get a feel for what's going on, because we haven't done a live session for a few weeks now, because obviously I was away and so forth. So.
Hey Mikey, this may have sort of already been asked. So, if we go back, because obviously, we're sort of still, just our small pump. If we go back to sort of 11.5, 12k, because obviously we've done that a few times recently and came back down. Why would a move back up there be any different this time? Like, has anything fundamentally changed in the market, or are we essentially still bearish until proven bullish by breaking that?
Yeah, pretty much. I think if we were to break, say, a 12k mark, I think that would indicate more of a bullish market cycle, because obviously we've been to 12k before and we've come back down again. So for us to confirm anything, it really needs to break that sort of 12k barrier. We've got a lot of good fundamental stuff happening at the moment. Like I was talking about the halal thing with Bitcoin there, that's automatically another 1.6 billion odd people that can be exposed to Bitcoin, and that can I guess not legally buy it, but according to their religion and so forth, they can buy it specifically now. So there's no issues with that. Whereas previously that was kind of like up in the air. They didn't really know, whether or not they could or they couldn't, that sort of thing. So fundamentally, we've got everything stacking up to be a bullish market cycle. Like I only see more and more talks of Bitcoin now, especially in the mainstream media. Like there's a lot of news sites and channels and financial sites and things that are covering Bitcoin now, like every day. So it's really cool to start to see. That sort of stuff will obviously help with mainstream adoption. But again, whether or not we hit large, bullish runs like we did previously or not, we don't really know, because as more and more money comes into the market, obviously it takes a lot more money to move the market as well. And once you start to see those big hedge fund managers and stuff coming in, those guys are used to only, when you're talking like Forex or stocks and shares, like, if you're able to generate, 5 or 10% a month, you're a freaking god, man. So, if they can come in and they can manipulate Bitcoin price to even double and then take their profits, like, in that short time frame, they've banked like a year's worth of profits in a very short time frame. So if they can continually do that, who's to say that price will even continue going up? Like, we could just go sideways forever, like almost like a stock market. But fundamentally, we should see an increase in price because of the amount of money that will come into the market. With the the supply is only increasing, at a slowing rate now, with Bitcoin getting to, its higher cap. Like, we're starting to see, less and less mining is going to be taking place. Like, less and less actual Bitcoin is going to be getting mined. So the supply is only increasing at a slow rate, whereas the demand should definitely overtake the supply and push the price higher. So yeah, I think for us to actually call it another bullish market, we definitely need to break at least that 12k level, because that's a pretty strong support and resistance level. That's where we bounced off when we hit our new high at 20k multiple times. and then we've also retested that now multiple times as well, and then came back down largely in price back to almost our lows again. So yeah, 12K is definitely a huge number for support and resistance level. So if we break that, you know, if we break that, we're targeting then, you know, 15K plus, I believe anyway. So we'll see what happens, and we'll just play it out. But yeah, I'm gonna concentrate once we get into our next bullish market cycle. I'm gonna concentrate on keeping a portion of my capital to be doing longs and shorts on BitMEX. So we'll try and come up with some new strategy to add to do that specifically, because that might suit that might suit people better as well from a trading perspective. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I suppose at that 12K level, if we get some quality deceleration, some nice candles, it might be a chance to short even this time. Not to say that we won't break it, but that if we sort of line up like last time, we might have an opportunity to go short and make some money, even if we do it via tether. Not that that's the best option.
Yeah. I think definitely your best option will be like doing the trading on something like BitMEX rather than going to Tether, because Tether, you're kind of, I mean, realistically, Tether can be used for other coins as well. But I think if I was going to short Bitcoin, I'd probably rather take the approach of doing a proper short and then keeping my funds in Bitcoin itself, and then, you know, if need be, you can still use it. Then you can still you can still effectively cash out of it. It's still there, liquidity available. So yeah, I probably prefer to do it that way. But previously, you know, before as we're hitting this 20K level, like with your previous with our previous pullbacks and so forth, like it was literally extremely silly to be shorting Bitcoin. Like the amount of new highs that we were creating all the time, and the small pullbacks that we were getting. Like if you were shorting Bitcoin, it was like I would have called you crazy. Like like if you were shorting that market, you know what I mean? Like that bullish trend. But now that we've had a massive pullback and we've been in this kind of, you know, pullback period now for a number of months, that time frame is going to get longer and longer as more money comes into the market, because the money is there and it's going to be harder to actually move the price, if you know what I mean. So as more money comes into the market, it's going to be harder to manipulate price as well, but then also the move percentage wise is going to be smaller, because it's going to take a lot more money to move it, you know, that far. So but I still believe we've got at least a few years before we get anywhere close to our market cap, you know, ceiling per se. So we've definitely got good opportunity there. But we can now open the option up to possibly shorting the market based on these movements here. You know, we can definitely look to short the market now that we've been through a longer pullback period per se. Whereas previously, before, I think it was very silly to short Bitcoin.
Yeah, and just one more quickly. So, in the past, with the altcoins, when Bitcoin's risen quickly, the altcoins have sort of taken a hammering. Is it slightly different in this situation because both Bitcoin and the altcoins are so low that we may sort of see a rise together?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah. And with Bitcoin becoming kind of less and less dominant in the overall market, it should have a lower effect on, you know, if Bitcoin does take off, it should have a slightly lower effect on the altcoin price. But I think a lot more people are trading altcoins now as well. So I think we'll see, you know, previously if we had a massive bull run on Bitcoin, the altcoin price would like tank out the ass as well, and then you're kind of like, oh crap, like do I sell, or do I keep my alt, or do I go back to Bitcoin or whatever, and that starts all the panic selling stuff. So I think we'll see, altcoins rise with Bitcoin better this time around, especially because more and more people are starting to trade, altcoins and stuff. They don't just have Bitcoin now, kind of thing. So I think it'll be a bit smoother this time around, like during the bullish market cycle. If we go crazy high with Bitcoin, I think the other coins will rise in value, relatively at the same levels. So we'll see what happens. No worries. Anyone else got any questions, guys?
I just wondered if you'd done any previous trading on BitMEX at all, like shorting or doing longs and stuff, or is that sort of more new?
I have done it previously, definitely. I was more so doing long trades with it rather than shorting, because of the fact that during this whole period, from way back when we were even like 3K and stuff, all the way up to 20K, like the pullbacks were so small that realistically, if you were to open a long after almost any pullback, it was going to go up. So I used to use it a little bit for longing. I didn't really do it a lot, because I still believe you can make more on altcoin trading per se, if you know what I mean. Like, I think the percentages are going to be better with altcoins still, but I'm still opening up the possibility to do more and more BitMEX trading with, again, just a portion of my capital. So previously, where I was keeping a certain amount of capital for altcoins when they came down, I'll do the same thing with keeping a certain amount of capital for specifically just trading leverage wise on, say, BitMEX, longing and shorting Bitcoin. So yeah, haven't really done it, haven't really used it a lot, but yeah, it's definitely I definitely will be using it more in the future.
Yeah, cool. Would you be using much leverage on, or try not, I guess, as low as possible?
Yeah, won't be using much leverage. Again, just the whole leverage thing. Like, you can, I think it's up to 100 times leverage or something on there. So, kind of like the good thing about obviously the leverage, as you know from the forex side, is that you don't have to have all of your capital on the exchange. Okay, so you could keep, say you had one Bitcoin to trade with, and you wanted to do, say, 10 by leverage, you could use like zero point 0.1 Bitcoin. So you can only have 0.1 Bitcoin exposed on the exchange, okay, and you could use your 10 by leverage and trade as if you still had one whole Bitcoin on the exchange, but you've actually got that in your own wallet. So it kind of minimizes the risk of keeping so much capital on the exchange, which is a good thing, whereas exchanges like Poloniex and Binance and stuff, to trade the alt, you obviously need to have a crap load of your actual capital on the exchange there trading. So that's kind of why I'm going to be exposing myself more to keeping a portion of my capital to do long and shorts on Bitcoin alone and on BitMEX. You can long and short other coins as well, obviously on that platform. So yeah, it's more so, as my accounts are growing and getting bigger, it's more so a protection thing to not have all of my capital on physical exchanges. And then also, I reckon sort of towards the end of this year, I think we'll start to see a lot more decentralized exchanges pop up, and using things like smart contracts and stuff to be able to do the trades. So again, that'll mean you won't have to keep as much of the actual capital on the exchange in case that exchange disappeared, got seized, got hacked, whatever. You've got your own funds in your own wallets and you trade with a portion of it. So I think we'll start to see that a lot more as well. I had ideas of creating a decentralized exchange and all that sort of stuff. The guys I was kind of working with, that's kind of fallen through a little bit. Still got another couple of things in the works, but probably going to give that idea a miss now, just based upon the fact of, I think it'll take up way too much of my time, and it'll be like getting back into the workforce again and just having no time to do anything else, if you know what I mean. So I've kind of like gone, nah, screw that idea. I like my freedom now. It's too good to have so much time.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I'll release I'll do some new videos on specifically how to use the BitMEX platform itself and how to do the leverage stuff in the coming weeks. Anyone else, guys? Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to call it there then if no one else has got any questions. Thanks for tuning in as usual, guys. And good to see, we ended up with 9 people on here, so that's good. I mean, we didn't even have 9 people say that they were going to come on the vote, so yeah, cool. If you missed any of the start, guys, revisit it. I do go over, obviously, Bitcoin price and so forth, so revisit the start of the video. Especially the part about making sure you've got your trading accounts at least created, okay, for the next bull run, because they did end up closing exchanges for new signups and things like that. So make sure you're prepared this time, and then yeah, we'll go from there, and we'll do another session in another week or two. Keep you guys updated. All right, guys, peace out. Take it easy. Have a good night. All right.